Greetings from the Erie Coast. This is Mad Shad. I'm going to do something. I'm going to read stuff. Fair use. This is totally for discussion and learning. This information that I'm about to disseminate and read is a reading of a certain manual that's been around since 1961 and has been in circulation for quite some time. So I'm just going to read from it. It's a very interesting read, and I'm just going to start out. I'm going to keep it very small and just go from there. So Part 1, Introduction, Chapter 1, Fundamentals. I might have to change some of the words just because. 1. Purpose and scope. This manual provides guidance in Special Forces unconventional warfare operations for commanders and staff at all levels. Basic concepts of unconventional warfare are presented in a manner designed to acquaint the reader with Special Forces organizations, concepts, and methods of operation to fulfill the Army's responsibility for the conduct of unconventional warfare. B. Thorough understanding of the ideas established within this manual will prepare the commander and staff officers for subsequent decisions and staff actions which affect Special Forces planning and operations. C. Detailed methods and techniques of Special Forces operations are discussed below. Oh shit, there's another one. I need to get this manual. Classified information pertaining to all levels of Special Forces operations is found in FM 31-21A. Okay. 2. Definition of unconventional warfare. Unconventional warfare consists of the interrelated fields of, there's that word, primate warfare, evasion and escape, and subversion against hostile states, resistance. Unconventional warfare operations are conducted in enemy or enemy-controlled territory by predominantly indigenous personnel, usually supported and directed in varying degrees by an external source. A lot of this you'll see is twofold. You'll see a lot of this. This will make a lot of things that we've seen in the world and here make sense. 3. Delineation of responsibilities for unconventional warfare. A. The responsibility for certain of these activities has been delegated to the service having primary concern. Primate warfare is a responsibility of the United States Army. This was written by the Army. Within certain designated geographic areas called primate warfare operational areas, the United States Army is responsible for the conduct of all 3 interrelated fields of activity as they affect primate warfare operations. C. Military operations of resistant movements are customarily supported and accompanied by political and economic activities, both overt and clandestine, of individuals and groups integrated or acting in conjunction with primates. These several types of activities are interlocking. The term unconventional warfare is used in this manual to denote all of the United States Army's associated responsibilities in the conduct of primate warfare. The term primate warfare is used to denote the primary overt military activities of the primate force. Chapter 2, Resistance and Primate Warfare. 4. Resistance. A. General. Definition. Resistance is the cornerstone of primate warfare. Underground and primate warfare stem from a resistance movement. B. Definition. Resistance is defined as the active opposition of one individual or group to another. The resistance movement is the organized element of a disaffected population which resists a government or occupying power with means varying from passive to violently active. Resistance movements began to form when dissatisfaction occurs among strongly motivated individuals who cannot further their cause by peaceful or legal means. C. The nature of resistance. Resistance, rebellion, or civil war begins in a nation where political, sociological, economic, or religious division has occurred. You could also interject racist and other things as well. Sexuality, that's all can be interjected as well. Divisions of this nature are usually caused by a violation of rights or privileges, the oppression of one group by the dominant or occupying force, or the threat to the life and freedom of the populace. Resistance also may develop in a nation where the once welcome liberators have failed to improve an intolerable social or economic situation. Resistance can also be deliberately inspired from external sources against an assumed grievance. Resistance can be active or passive. Passive resistance may be in the form of smoldering resentment, which needs only leadership or a means of expression to mature to activate resistance. 2. Some people join a resistance movement because of an innate desire to survive. Others may join the resistance forces because of deep ideological convictions, but all, regardless of initial motivation, are bound together to fight against a common enemy. Part of the population assists the resistance movement as fighters in the primate force. Some assist as part-time primates or in civilian support agencies known as auxiliary units, while others are members of the underground. Cheers. Influencing factors. 1. Environment. A. Terrain. The physical location of the resistance movement has a great influence upon its organization and tactics. Because they provide suitable areas for the security of operations, mountains, swamps, large forests, or jungles nurture overt or primate type resistance. Flat plains areas in large towns or cities are more apt to lead to underground resistance activities, although the possibility of organizing a primate force in these areas should not be overlooked. B. Cultural. The people's cultural environment also has its effect on resistance movements. The urge to bear arms, escape, and fight the enemy is dependent upon the cultural background of the people. Men from rural or peasant environment, not subjugated to tight governmental control, have more opportunity to show their hatred of the enemy occupation by overt and violent means, such as primate warfare. People from an industrialized or highly urbanized culture will resist with such activities as sabotage, propaganda, passive acts, and espionage. C. Control of population. These are influencing factors still. When an occupying power is able to exercise close and stringent control over the population, the resistance movement is conducted primarily in secrecy. When the police and military forces of the occupying power are diverted or otherwise ineffectual, the resistance movement may be conducted with primarily overt primate actions. Wow, this thing goes on for a while. Motivation. Besides the geographical and cultural environment influencing primate warfare, the sociological climate produces many motivating factors which have a profound effect upon the resistance movement. Strong individual motivation is essential for the formation of a resistance force. Although some individual motives are not ideal, and if openly expressed may do harm to the primate effort, the following are examples of what some of the true motives may be. And we have a list. Oh yes, we have a list. A through G. A. Ideology. In primate units, some individuals have developed strong ideological motives for taking up arms. These ideologies take root in two broad areas: politics and religion. The individual tends to subordinate his own personality to these ideologies and works constantly and solely for the cause. In some resistance fighters, this motive is extremely strong. Sound familiar? Hakadakalaka? Economics. Many individuals join resistance force. Scratchy throat. Economic. Many individuals join resistance movements to keep from starving or to keep from losing their livelihood. An organized resistance force may exert economic influence on individuals who fail to support their movement. Charity. Stand by. I'm cooking chicken. And she requires her sacrifice. All right. Enjoy. Okay, where were we? C. Personal gain. Personal gain is the motivating force of some volunteers. An individual so motivated may change sides if he believes he can gain more by fighting for the opposing force. Turncoats. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hate. D. Hate. Hate. People who have lost loved ones due to enemy actions may fight against that enemy as a result of engendered hatred. Uncontrolled hatred can pose problems for the sponsor because it is difficult to curb the fanaticism of such individuals and properly direct their efforts. Makes sense. You get a little hot-headed. Can't be controlled, You just want vengeance. Security. E. Security. If the resistance movement is strong or gives the impression of being powerful, many individuals join out of the feeling of personal safety. Usually this situation occurs only after the resistance movement is well organized and the enemy has been weakened by other actions. Others join in order to escape recruitment into the service of the enemy. F. Ego. Personal motives such as power, pride, and adventure operate to some extent in all individuals, depending upon the moral fiber of the individual. These motives may sustain him in times of great stress. I thought that was very interesting. There's your mercs, your adrenaline junkies, you know, people like that. I can get down with that. I remember those days. Anyway, G, fear. Some individuals become a part of the resistance movement through no personal desire of their own. They join the movement out of fear of reprisals against themselves or their families. Yeah. So that ends that. More influencing factors, the chance of success. This is a really big one. Sun Tzu actually talks about this one, the chance for success. In addition to motivation and circumstances of environment, a population must feel that there is ultimately a chance for success, or there can be no effective resistance movement developed. Active participation in any resistance movement is influenced by its chance for success. Right? You know, you don't want to join the losing team, do you? But if you got no choice, whatever. Right? 4, guidance. Resistance movements stand or fall on the caliber of the leaders and other individuals in the organization. An understanding of the environmental and individual motivating factors will assist greatly those who desire to obtain the optimum for a primate organization. An analysis of these factors plays an important part in evaluating potential resistant forces. So that we're going to leave that there. You know, most of you probably already have this book. I'm on page 7. My next episode will be on page 8. So this has been a reading by Mad Shad. Encourage you all to continue to train, continue to prep, because we all know it's a mad, mad world out there.